Hi guys, Gaming Bear here. Right, got a bit of a situation. HMS Texas needs our money. It's there with it's got its little buckets out, it's mopping the floor, and it needs our help. Ted and Bloggy and me think, well, it's a good project. It's got problems. Wargaming is doing a special on the LA server with Project Valor to help raise money. All the proceeds going towards the Texas to keep it afloat, keep it together. And let's have a look at the video that's out. Bear with me a second. Here we go.
Time. After serving with such distinction in the last century, she deserves nothing less in the next.
Since that time,
It's in trouble. Let's get to the juicy bits. Basically, it says about the really basic plans, and let's have a look at this.
First, completion of only those repairs necessary to get the ship into a protected dry berth. Second, design and construction of a dry berth. And third, placement of the ship into the dry berth in a way that is presentable to the public.
If it's going to be, which it needs to be, a long-term project, something that's for everybody forever to see, whether to look back at war as this is how things used to be done and so we don't do it again, learn by history. We need to see these things, we need things kept, and this is one of the iconic ships that needs to be there, like the Britannia, the Mary Rose, other ships and other things from history that need to be preserved so future generations, we can't let future generations down. If we let things like this just go, well, they're gone. So we need to help to save it and to make sure it's there. Otherwise, if it's not a stitch in time saves 9. If it's not repaired now, it'll cost a lot more later, if that money's ever available, and which means it could just be gone. There are problems underneath the boilers and things like that, and the structure is disintegrating, and basically those areas could just fall to pieces. Let's have a look through. This is just awful.
PA processes, a conceptual design report for dry berth alternatives was finalized in late 2011. This report revealed 2 significant findings. Key components of the
Look at
battleship
this.
were in much worse condition than anticipated, and the cost for each of the dry berth concepts greatly exceeded the...
As an engineer, I know when something looks like that, it's much worse. What you can't see is worse than what you can see. It's like dry rot. It's essentially steel. It's disintegrating. It needs fixing now before it's too late.
the available budget for the project. TPWD determined that the available budget for the dry berth project was insufficient to fund critical vessel repairs alone.
Warship Texas is an old ship and is bound to spring leaks now and then, but ship manager Andy Smith says new clusters of leaks developed over the weekend after they already made repairs last week.
Saturday, we started experiencing some flooding in our blister tanks, which are these outer tanks that were attached to the ship.
Thing is, you got to bear in mind that this is 2012, and if it's taking on 2,000 litres a minute, if they hadn't done something about it, it would be at the bottom of the estuary, wouldn't it? So, but we need to stop it going that way. They managed to turn it round at that stage, but we don't want it to go back that way. So when you look at the 2012 and think, we're 5 years later, I looked at it and thought, So, yeah, I'm ahead of you. So...
In June 2012, the battleship Texas began taking on water at rates as high as 2,000 gallons per minute due to leaks in her fragile hull. In response, TPWD quickly consulted with the U.S. Department of the Navy, the Texas Historical Structural Repairs, whether or not she was placed in a dry berth.
It's a mess. And it's getting worse until they can fix it and have the money.
The funding made available by Texas Vote.
We need to try and get the money together, and hence helping Wargaming. All the profits are going to the project. For posterity, let me just call this back up. So, Project Valor. Have a look in. If you've got a few dollars, few pounds, you can put in towards this to help with the project, because it's something for future generations. It's something that's needed to stop us going down the same old roads or shipping lanes over and over, so we can try and move away from conflict. And we have to have the things there so that it seems it's real to future generations, and the stories, the evidence, it's not like a figment in the background that they don't take seriously. It's got to be done now before it's too late. I'm going to be putting my money where my mouth is, a big enough mouth, and so I just wanted to let you know. And so I'll be trying to head over to Texas, and hopefully meeting up with Angry Joe and other Joe, and see what we can do about this in the Lone Star State. Because those boys are brilliant, so I'm going to see what I can do with those guys and any other YouTubers who want to come on board for doing this. I'll come on board. Well, maybe we will. I don't know. That's just, and I look like a pirate, so I just suddenly thought I just need a pirate's hat and a parrot. But the main thing is, the Texas needs our help, and that's it. So if you can afford a bit to go towards it, it's really, really vital. So thank you. I'm the Gaming Bear. This is the Texas, and the old lady, not the grand old lady, is in a bit of a state and needs help. You know, she's showing her age, and we just want to make sure that she's preserved for posterity. So thank you guys. See you on the next one. From me, Little Ted, and Bloggy. See you all soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.